New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Not working today and watching the Who Shot JR Dallas episode, one of the most watched television programs in the history of the medium. I'm stepping aside. I'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. Coming up next, we're doing it back to back. Who Shot JR from 4 to 5, and then playing it again from 5 to 6. Who Shot JR from 40 years ago. It's Dallas on the neutral ground. Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. All right, no Dallas. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday where you're the show producer. Thanks so much for joining us on a Wednesday afternoon. 2 big hours coming your way on radio, on television, on YouTube. CoreyTalks.com live streaming on this wide open Wednesday. We got a good one for you, chock full of a ton of stuff. Every day, this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, CoreyTalks.com, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park, doing you right in Kenner. Out by the lake in Kenner, I-10 and Williams Boulevard on the car corner. Right on the corner, right on the price, the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And he's bridging the gap across the Parish by the river. Now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. 2 dealerships covering both sides of the parish, the lakefront area, the riverfront area. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Yeah, you right. Jason, a.k.a. the Ragin' Cajun, a.k.a. the Man in Black. I'd say he's the heat magnet, but kind of cloudy, especially this morning. This morning was Portland, Seattle, Vancouver weather. 100% humidity. It was like we were in a cloud, basically. Just, it wasn't raining, but folks that wear glasses like me just coated with liquid. You kind of touch your clothes, you're like they're wet. New Orleans and the surrounding cities and towns along the I-10 corridor from Houston to Jacksonville, we get the most rain in America, about 60 plus inches a year. Seattle gets around 40 inches a year. 40 inches a year in Seattle, 60 in New Orleans. Seattle has 60 more days of cloud cover, or to put it a better way, New Orleans, with 20 more inches of rain a year, 50% more rain than Seattle, 50% more rainfall than Seattle. We have 60 more days of sunshine, 2 months more per year of days of sunshine. No, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, like this morning, kind of cold, damp, wet, cloudy. Kind of depressing if that's what you get all the time. But those Seattle folks adjust. Same with Portland, same with Vancouver. Booming cities, huge economies, lots of growth. They just put on their rain gear. You know, we sweat and perspire in the summer. Folks come down here and go, how do you live in that humidity? You go to Minneapolis in the winter, you're like, how do you live with the snow? Everybody adjusts. But it's amazing how those areas have 20 inches less rainfall a year, and we have 60 more days of sunshine than they do. No, it just means what we saw this morning, that's what Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver get a lot of the time. Hey, it is a wide open Wednesday. Like I said, you're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss, we got you covered. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left in the recall effort. You know, I'm tooling into work earlier today, and I'm I'm a talk radio junkie, so I listen to these terrible shows in New Orleans, these lightweights, these former disc jockeys that do shows with no depth, no historical knowledge, no nothing. I mean, if you wanted me to really be a basher, I'd call them out by name. I'm trying to be nice. This one guy who is extremely political, but just weak view, doesn't have any depth, doesn't know what he's talking about, extremely one-sided. Someone asked if he's signing the recall or not. No, I need to stay neutral. Not signing the recall. Need to stay neutral. I don't think you're staying neutral. You're picking a side. And this particular guy, I think just lubes up his head and inserts it up the mayor's rear, you know what. Just a puppet for the mayor, carrying the mayor's water each and every day. The mayor doesn't really show herself at too many outlets, only places where she feels safe. She'll go on this particular show, not mine, this lightweight guy show, because it's all softball pitches, nothing critical, just a big smooch fest. Just pathetic. When you have a microphone or camera in front of you, there's a responsibility involved. I mean, the big station down the dial just dumbing down the audience in New Orleans, like everybody's mentally limited and stupid. It's painful. No, there's a responsibility. And ideally, you're going to step up and handle that responsibility. And it's talk radio, talk TV. You want to go out there and not put yourself out on the line and do crazy controversial stuff, but stand for something, have some consistency. What you say on Monday is what you'll say on Tuesday, the next week, the next month. You know what you stand for. A lot of these lightweights that were used to spinning records and now have to actually have an opinion have no clue what they stand for. We'll say one thing on Monday and the opposite a week later, literally the opposite the week later, and they don't even know what they stand for or what they mean, so it's just comical. No, we are a talk radio desert here in New Orleans. Yeah, and the dumbing down of folks when you have a microphone in front of you, very irresponsible. No, we like to lose. We like to lose. Now, this would be comical if it wasn't so sad. Fortunate St. Bernard Parish. Not so grateful. The Port of New Orleans purchasing over 1,000 acres in Violet to build a container terminal, state-of-the-art, like $1.5 billion. It's going to take like over a decade to complete it. They want to start maybe in a year. It'll take 4 years just to open it, and then they'll continue expanding it and growing it to a certain point. Now the parish of St. Bernard is suing to stop this container terminal. I guarantee, and it's funny because it's, citing traffic and environmental concerns. The traffic concerns are legitimate. And I'm going to give St. Bernard Parish the benefit of the doubt in a second on that. The environmental concerns are a joke. If one of those of many refineries down in Chalmette, all they do is like the refineries in Cancer Alley, north of the city upriver, they pollute, they break local DEQ rules and regulations, they break national EPA rules and regulations. No one's watching, no one cares, literally causing cancer for lots of folks in St. Bernard and north up in Cancer Alley especially, literally. Polluting the water, polluting the air, discharging heavy metals that aren't good, that stay in the water, stay in the ground, stay in the air for a long, long time, literally killing folks. If one of these refineries wanted to expand in St. Bernard, they'd be all for it. But a container terminal wants to come and a bunch of St. Bernard residents are complaining about it. I'm going to give St. Bernard the benefit of the doubt. You remember the airport built? And then, oh, wait, we've got $1 billion airport and we don't have an access road to get to that airport. Airport's been open a few years now. The access road at Loyola, still not finished or complete. It's mind-blowing. If coronavirus crisis didn't come, it would be traffic snarls forever. But the tourism industry bogged down a little bit, so we kind of survived that, got over that speed bump. If St. Bernard is holding out on the container terminal like they're actually all for it and appreciative of the green jobs coming to the city, to the parish, I should say, but they're demanding that the Florida Avenue Expressway is finally built, then I say kudos to St. Bernard Parish. I hope it is some intellectually, tactical move on their part to get this long overdue Florida Avenue Expressway built. But one side of me thinks there's just a lot of folks in St. Bernard where life is hard, that don't want to see progress, that don't want to see this built, but they'd love a refinery built. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning is a New Orleans institution since 1940. If you don't like your dry cleaner and you want to experience the best, youngsdrycleaning.com. They'll treat you right. They're the pros for 83 years. youngsdrycleaning.com. When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool side. NOLAAC.com, your cool side.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
He robbed 3 banks in New Orleans and 1 in Jefferson Parish and has fled to Houston. There's some strange extradition laws in Harris County, and apparently he is safe from local law enforcement and even the feds. Ralph Malbrough joins us on the program again. What's up, Ralph?
Well, I had to rob banks, I had to save up some money because I owe you an apology that you were right. I even forgot what we bet. I can't even remember the exact thing, but I know you flogged me on Twitter because you were right and I was wrong. I forgot what it was about, but I needed to save up the money to pay off my debt to you. So I had to rob a couple banks.
How you been, Ralph?
I've been okay, Corey, but I can't get over these Saints fans. I admit fully, at the beginning of the process when Sean Payton left last year, I was like, I don't think they're going to get a first-round pick. And I said that through the whole process. I think they're going to get something nice, but I don't think they're going to get 2 first-round picks. And I admit, I was wrong. They got a first-round pick. They got a second-round pick next year, which is good because they gave it away to Philly, right? The Philly trade that just the more you think about it, the more you hate it, right?
Yep.
But I don't understand these fans, Corey, that are Mickey Loomis got fleeced. It was terrible. He didn't have all the leverage, man. I think he did pretty good. But, I don't know, were you expecting them to get 2 firsts and 2 seconds and, a key to the city and, $20 million? I thought Loomis did okay.
Ralph Malbrough, by the way, is with WWL Television, Channel 4 here in New Orleans, does some great columns that are both informative and funny concerning sports. Joins the morning show, I think, just to, upset Eric Paulson. It's great stuff. Ralph, I thought Loomis and the Saints did have the leverage, and I thought you had a great tweet yesterday. 2 selections in the top 64 minimum. It could be even top 50, 55, depending on where that second-round selection falls next year. I think Denver had 5 wins this year. They're in the AFC. They're in the same division as, Kansas City and the Chargers with great QBs. You got Allen in Buffalo. You got Burrow and Cincy. I think Peyton's going to get Russell Wilson back to all-pro form quickly, but he's in a tough place. No, I thought the Mickey Loomis had leverage. I think the Saints had leverage, and I think they did a pretty good job. I think you said it best. 2 selections in the top 64 in the draft. This year, 1, the first round, 29th overall, and then a second-round selection next year. Now, I thought they did a pretty good job with it. 2 number 1s, could they have done better? Yeah, I'm sure. But to end my thought, I think just a lot of fans, you could give them the key to the city, $20 million, and they'd complain, gold bricks. They'd complain that I got to carry these gold bricks, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I think the thing is that most Saints fans, they don't acknowledge is that they couldn't, Mickey Loomis, he couldn't block Sean Payton going to Denver over compensation. Can you imagine Sean Payton, the most arrogant, petty, beautiful person you ever met? I love him. He was fun. He got me a Super Bowl. I got the merchandise. It was great. But, Corey, can you imagine Sean Payton having to spend another year at Fox because Mickey Loomis blocked it? Cost him $20 million minimum, maybe more, because you don't guarantee that he's going to get a job next year, right? Can you imagine the leaks and the backstabbing that Sean Payton would have done to the Saints? You can't have that lingering over the Saints in 2023. He would have burned the Saints season to the ground just out of spite, man. Mickey Loomis, once Denver was like, we're willing to do a deal, he had to get that done. And I just think fans, in theory, making Sean Payton sit out another year, in theory, it's great. But in the real world, you can't have that. That was never going to happen.
You brought up, that is a brilliant point. 25% of this deal is putting Sean Payton in the rearview mirror.
That's right. More, I think.
Maybe more. And a lot of fans aren't even thinking about that. That is a brilliant point, jettisoning Sean Payton per se. Boy, the manipulation through the national media with Sean Payton, huh? He's trying to control something that's beyond his control. It got humorous there for a while.
It did. It did. And I'll tell you, man, like the Saints didn't really because I have some sources with the Saints, as do you. But I know for a fact that like the whole leaking from to PFT, they're like, oh, Sean Payton's really thinking of coming back to the Saints if they fire Dennis Allen. He's going to bring Brady with him. Like, I know for a fact that ticked off the Saints. And they didn't say anything publicly because they thought, hey, well, if he's trying to gin up a market for himself, that can help us maybe get more compensation, so we'll just keep our mouth shut. But I know for a fact that the Saints were like, they hated that because, man, that's just like a knife. Whatever you think of Dennis Allen, to do that to the guy who replaced you, man, that's cold. That's cold, brother. And I know it ticked off the Saints. And Corey, I just, as a fan, as a guy who does a podcast, I didn't want to deal with another year of like, the Saints are 3-3, but they've lost or they're 4-4, but they've lost 3 out of 4. Fire DA, bring back Sean. When you know it's never going to happen. Like, I just didn't want to deal with another year of Sean Payton lingering out there. But I'll tell you, Corey, I think Sean Payton, I think he got really lucky. I don't think he played the job market well at all. I think he was a little bit arrogant. I think he expected it to go a certain way because Miami, they bent over backwards. They were tampering. They were going to offer him the keys to the kingdom and $100 million. I think he thought every team was just going to offer him whatever he wanted. And I think he was fortunate because really he was like Denver's like third choice. So I think Sean Payton caught a break, and I think the Saints caught a break that it worked out for Denver because Corey, they tried to get DeMeco Ryans 2 different times before they settled on Sean.
Yeah, even trying to get Harbaugh maybe 2 times from Michigan.
Yeah, like I guess Harbaugh, like he loves depleted khakis. So like working for Walmart and getting a lifetime of khaki pants, like I really thought that was going to close the deal for him. I like over the weekend, I was like, Harbaugh getting a lifetime of khaki pants, the Dockers from Walmart, like that's done. It's done and dusted. The Saints aren't getting anything. Peyton's not getting a job. So I was really surprised when it just dropped out the sky yesterday.
Yeah, another fact, Sean Payton never, ever would have returned to New Orleans. He left abruptly, all for personal reasons, nothing to do with burnout or needed a break. Like you said, during the Saints season, tampering with Miami or Miami tampering with him. And then before the door hit him on the rear end leaving airline drive, I'm ready to coach again. It was just silly.
Dude, that there's a shot of his farewell press conference where he's talking, and I don't know who took the picture. Maybe it's on the Saints website or wherever, but it's a picture that goes around the internet. And you see Mickey Loomis and Lauscha and Gail Benson and the other Saints people in the facility, the assistant coaches, and you can see it on their faces. I know I can't use 4-letter words, but it is a lot of bleepity bleep bleep this guy. I can't believe he's doing this to us. Like Mickey Loomis, the media asked him at the Senior Bowl and asked him right after, and he's like, no, I'm not ready to talk about it. Like it took him like 3 weeks before he was like, yeah, I'm ready to talk about Sean leaving. They were ticked off, man. The Saints were ticked off. And listen, time can heal stuff and bridges can be mended, but they were ticked off, Corey.
Boy, New Orleans and Louisiana, I know you love it. I love it. You know, there's nothing better. Uh-oh, did we lose Ralph? You there, Ralph? Oh, we did. Let's dial him right back up. No, I was going to say it's a great place, but also there's like when we do kind of win, we just cling to it forever. And I don't know, Ralph, that Super Bowl, I was in my like 30s or something. I'm in my 50s now. That Super Bowl was a generation ago. and we're still clinging to 2009 because, hey, it's a Super Bowl. I think teams like Denver, Arizona, they wanted the coach. They didn't covet him like you were saying, like he thought they would. And I think they scrutinized, man, this guy's with a Hall of Fame first ballot quarterback his entire career and was only the best team in the NFC one time. So he's not this perfect coach like a lot of fans in New Orleans kind of make him out to be.
No, I think that's accurate. Now, look, listen, I think coaching is incredibly undervalued by fans and by owners, because here's the thing, like going from Sean Payton to Dennis Allen, like you can see the difference in elite coaching, the details, the game management. So I think people do undervalue it, but I think you're right. Like, I just think teams in this age of analytics, like Houston, when I talked to their blogs and podcasts, they were like, there is no way on this earth we're giving you number 12 pick for Sean Payton. We're just not. And the thing with Sean Payton is, as great as he is, Corey, 5 defensive coordinators, right? And how much power do you give him? And when you're a team, you're like, I got to pay him $20 million. I got to give him all this power, and I got to give the Saints picks. Nah, I'll just go and get an assistant coach. So I see the teams why they did it. And I'm just going to be really curious to see how Sean Payton built a staff in Denver, because, like, it took him a long time, Corey, to figure it out on defense.
Oh,
like,
boy, you had 1 year, Ralph, where the Saints had literally the most prolific offense in NFL history. The number one, and the very next year, statistically, the worst defense in the history of the NFL. That was all in 2 seasons. So, yeah, defense was a major problem. Ralph, hang on a second. We're coming right back. More with Ralph Malbrough. Don't move.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Parish Road in Chalmette.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. For the savings, total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Ralph Malbrough's with us from Channel 4 Television. Ralph, I've called off the bet. It's like a golf bet. We're battling the whole time, fighting over the dollar here, a dollar there. You better make that putt. It's not a gimme. Putt it out. And then at the end, I win $7 from you, and we don't even pay each other. You got your son involved, that beautiful boy of yours. I can't have that on my conscience, him holding up a sign saying I'm right. So the bet is off.
I'll pay up. I just can't even remember what it was over. It was over some sort of detail in the Sean Payton sweepstakes, I think. And I'll say that, like, here's the thing with the entire Sean Payton thing that I like the fact that Mickey Loomis got the second round pick for next year, because now that Sean Payton's gone, he's the other team's jerk. And I want to hate watch the Broncos. And now, Corey, I can hate watch the Broncos and root against Sean Payton. And people can say, well, why you hate him? He got you a Super Bowl. I can say, no. I have to hate watch the Broncos because I want the second round pick to be as high as possible. So I like being able to hate watch other teams for better picks. It really is one of my joys besides watching Saints football. And this year, the Saints might be 10-7, 7-10, or 4-13. We have no idea. So I gotta find joy on my football Sundays wherever I get.
Hey, you remember Reggie Bush gets traded, and then all of a sudden he's a bum, and Saints fans don't like him anymore. LSU fans hate Alabama and hate Nick Saban. It's almost like 99 out of 100. They forget that Saban built the foundation that the Tiger team still lives on to this day. I have a feeling a lot of Saints fans that loved or very much liked Sean Payton, some of them are going to jump on that bandwagon you were just talking about. But I also have a feeling a lot are going to be rooting for Sean Payton in Denver to win in a weird kind of way. I don't think it's going to be equal anywhere near that Saban hatred. You agree?
Well, I think it's different because Denver in the AFC, yes, it's still a football team, but it's miles away.
If he went to Atlanta, he'd be universally hated, right?
Dude. Oh, my God. Like Mickey, if the Saints had let Sean Payton go to Atlanta, that's a fireable offense for Mickey Loomis. Fireable offense. You can't. I don't care, Corey, if Atlanta gave the Saints the next 10 number one picks. I don't want Atlanta getting a Super Bowl with Sean Payton. There's nothing of value Atlanta can give me that would make that trade worth it. But if he had gone to Carolina, I think it would be different because Carolina's in our neighborhood, right? We're competing with them. But it's Denver, it's the Mountain Time Zone, it's But Saban's just a completely different animal because it's Alabama. It's the team that LSU met with LSU fans, and we measure ourselves against Alabama. It's completely different. I'm still going to hate Sean Payton. He's gone. He sabotaged the Saints. He wanted to leave. He tried to go to Miami. He backstabbed Dennis Allen a little bit this last year. Like, I'm done with Sean Payton. Like, thanks for the Super Bowl. It was cool. But I'm done with you, and, like, I wish you nothing but the worst.
Ralph Malbrough is with us from Channel 4. Hey, Ralph, Payton, I don't know if it was an above-ground pool or an in-ground pool, but he had a swimming pool full of Kool-Aid, and he'd hand the local media a drink with an umbrella in it. They're lounging around. I mean, the next quarterback's in the building, and folks are jumping on that Taysom Hill thing. We can go on and on about that, just sort of full-blown ownership of the local media. And then the local media with the Saints and LSU, there's sort of this mentality, let me befriend the players and the coach. Let me not alienate fans with anything negative. And then maybe the third thought, I got to do some sports journalism. I got a feeling in Denver, the opposite. They are going to eat him alive as far as if he thinks he's going to befriend the local media. Like he had like a Jim Finks control over the local media, and Finks didn't control Peter Finney or Brian Alley Walsh or those guys, but a lot of local media, very much under the control of Sean Payton, believing anything he had to say. I don't see that in Denver at all. A lot more talk radio programs, a lot more sports writers, a lot more transient people that don't have that New Orleans connection, a Denver connection. What do you think as far as the media and the coverage of Sean Payton? Hey, coach, is someone injured? Are you going to ask me that every day? Yeah, coach, it's my job. I'm going to ask you that every day.
I mean, he'll try to set the tone. And I mean, they had a guy, Benjamin Albright, throwing Molotov cocktails at him on Twitter, going to the Viking and stuff. You say he was alluding to off the field stuff. Like, so I'm gonna be curious to see if he freezes old Benjamin Albright out, because he even referenced it on Twitter. So like, I was stunned. I had never seen a media member go so personally at a potential coach of a team they covered. But the thing, this about the New Orleans media, the New Orleans media has always been kind of soft. You referenced it with Finks and listen, Sean Payton, he came in and he took iron fist control of it. Now, and I'm going to tell this story, God rest his soul, Kenny Wilkerson. Now, Kenny Wilkerson, he ended up getting fired from WWL, as you know, right? And Kenny Wilkerson wasn't no angel. He did a lot of it. He brought on himself. He had personal issues off the field. He did the Stonewall thing where he was on message boards. But also, too, this, Corey, he was connected in with players, and he got injury news, and that pissed off Sean Payton in 2006 when he broke the Roman Harper injury news. And Sean Payton kind of made an example of Kenny Wilkerson. And that really, to me, from that point on, kind of put the NOLA media in his pocket.
Yeah, the story's great.
I don't know.
Kenny had some inside folks with the Saints. The Saints kind of, Sean Payton narrowed it down to a few employees, fed those employees some incorrect information. Kenny reports that. And then, the station down the dial where Kenny worked, kind of in the pocket of the Saints and Sean Payton. And, it cost Kenny Wilkerson and a few Saints employees their job.
Yeah, and listen, like Sean Payton is ruthless. Like, he wants to control everything. He has the bandwidth. He's like telling Saints social media, like, what you can put on the website, what you can do marketing-wise. Like, he was involved in all of it.
Yep.
So I'm just curious. I'm curious about the Denver market, because the Denver market, it's still a two newspaper town, which really matters, makes the media sort of more aggressive in those places like Philly and New York. And like, New Orleans media has never been that way. And it's going to be really curious to me. And, Sean Payton, from the jump in New Orleans, he got him to the NFC Championship. So he had this sort of rope with the media, with the fans. Like in Denver, man, he goes 8-9, 7-10 the first year. Like, the media is going to be out for him. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to go. I think it's going to go like you say, but I'll be curious to see if Sean Payton can adjust to life in sort of a fishbowl where he doesn't have as much control, he doesn't have as much say, and the media has got the knives out. It's gonna be really, really interesting.
Yeah, I just don't see the Denver media. They're not going to want to be manipulated. They're not concerned about befriending the coach at all, and they're not concerned about alienating fans with bad news. I think there's more of a pure journalism thing. New Orleans is a small little town. I mean, hell, you live in Houston, Ralph. Harris County has a larger population than the state of Louisiana. Harris County alone. So... And Houston, it's hard to find someone from Houston, I'm sure. Everyone's from somewhere else. That's Denver. Denver's like 3 million in the metro. Most of the people aren't even from Colorado. They're all from around the country. So I just think it's a totally different animal.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be fascinating. And the thing that I was telling Houston people and also Denver is, the one thing is that Sean Payton does is he makes your team relevant in a way that other coaches don't. And I'll be honest, Corey, I miss it. Like, it was fun, not only the winning with the Saints and Drew Brees and the offense. It was fun, but it was cool that the Saints had this rock star coach that the media, ESPN and Dan Patrick, they all wanted to talk to. And you can argue who's the best coach. You know, I think Sean Payton is a top 5 coach. I don't think he's top 3. I think there's 3 or 4 coaches that are clearly better than him. Tomlin, Belichick, Andy Reid. But the thing that's unquestionable is the media star of coaches was Sean Payton. No one touched him. Not Andy Reid, not Belichick, none of them. He could stop the world, and he was plugged in a way in social media. Other coaches weren't. So that's going to be fun for Denver. But the thing is, Corey, he could sort of do his fun things on Twitter, and the New Orleans media would just kind of chuckle along with him. Like in Denver, I wonder, like, if he tries to do things on Twitter, like, it's major news and it leads the news and it's on front page of the sports page. Like, I think it's going to be really curious. I'm just fascinated by how he adjusts. And I think the Ben Albright situation is going to be sort of the beginning of it, is like, does Sean Payton go back to his playbook of like, hey, man, you did all this stuff that ticked me off. I'm going to freeze you out.
Yep.
Like I did in New Orleans to people. I'm going to see if he tries to do that. And does the Denver media sort of just go, oh, it's too bad for you, Ben Albright? Or do they kind of rally up and say, no, Sean, that's not how it is here?
No, I totally agree with you. I agree with you, Ralph. And I don't think the Broncos are going to, ban media members or that type of stuff. Ralph, hang on. One final segment with Ralph Malbrough. Don't
Dave
move.
Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Parish Road.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Ralph Malbrough's with us. All right, Ralph. Also, we can look at the flip side of this record. Sean Payton's got a Super Bowl win, 3 NFC championship games. 15 years with Hall of Famer Drew Brees doing some incredible stuff, especially on offense. The Denver Broncos have a winning coach. You mentioned maybe Tomlin, Belichick, Andy Reid, Rams coach. There might be a few others that folks would consider better than Payton, but he's a top 5, top 7 at worst in the NFL. I think that's sort of a consensus. Special offensive mind. He's got another QB. Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. He's like the same size as Drew Brees. I guarantee I would not bet against Russell Wilson being in the Pro Bowl this year, even with all those QBs on the AFC side. I think he's going to have a great year. I think Denver, even without a running back and wide receivers, he'll bring some folks in. He'll get that offense going. They've got a pretty good defense. They're definitely going to improve on those 5 wins. Denver got a winning coach. They're high expectations with Sean Payton in Denver, right?
Oh, 100%. And the thing is with Russell Wilson last year is they hired Nathaniel Hackett, and he was overwhelmed. And even in training camp, when I was listening to preview podcasts and different, then I remember an audio clip. Nathaniel Hackett's like, "Well, we're going to run what Russell wants," and Russell Wilson wanted to run empty, where they don't have running backs, and that's something.
He's running the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay offense.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think Sean Payton's going to be like, "Man, that ain't going to work, Russell." And Sean Payton will have the cachet to mold him and put him in a better situation and make him thrive. And the thing that's, to me, the most impressive thing about Sean Payton with the Saints was, besides the offense that he did, he solved problems, Corey. You look at the Saints. Remember 2015, they just had one day, they're like, yeah, we Akeem Hicks, we traded him. And we got a backup tight end. We're running 2 tight ends. We're going to run 12 personnel now. and we're going to run 2 tight ends. That's going to help Drew identify the defense. We're just going to change it on the fly, and it worked. And they stayed a top 10 offense. So, like, and even his last year with the Saints, he looked at him and was like, oh, Jameis Winston, don't turn the ball over. And if we have to play great defense and win really ugly, that's fine. So, like, Sean Payton he's not above doing whatever it takes, in a sense of he's not hard-headed like a Mike Martz or other coaches where he's like, I'm running my offense, and if it doesn't work,
he knows Russell Wilson strengths and weaknesses now as well as anyone in football, including Seattle's coach. So what he did for Breeze. Let's maximize all the great things you do, 80-90% of your game. That 10-15% where you're not very good or that's not your strength, we're going to totally eliminate that. It's all going to be designed around what Russell Wilson does great, and avoiding the things that maybe he's just mediocre at or not so great at.
Yeah, and listen, like Nathaniel Hackett, he didn't even make it through his first year. You have to be historically bad as a coach to get fired during your first season as coach. Like, the list is very small, and he was just overwhelmed. And Sean Payton is 180 degrees from that. The interesting thing to me about Russell Wilson in Denver with Sean Payton is my question with Russell Wilson is he was so dependent on his mobility and his physical gifts. I wonder if he's not going to be as mobile and he's not going to be able to run as much, is he still going to be a really great quarterback? That's my question, because I think, Corey, the thing that Tom Brady and Drew Brees did that's really spoiled us is, like, you know this, most quarterbacks, you hit 36, 37, you start to decline, and a lot of times it's like Matt Ryan. You fall off a cliff. And Drew Brees and Tom Brady doing it incredible, even though Drew, it was different at the end. The Saints still went 12-4. They were still a top 10 offense. He was still a top 5 rated quarterback. Tom Brady did it until he was 45. He didn't fall off the cliff until the very end, right? We got spoiled, like, oh, quarterbacks, it's health, and you could do this, and you could stay great until you're 40. That's not the norm. And Brees and Brady might have just been outliers, and it might be getting back to normal. And that's the thing. Like, what happens to Peyton if in like a year or two he's like, Russell Wilson, like, you ain't it, buddy. You're like the 18th. I've done the best I could, and you're like the 18th best quarterback, and we've gone 9-8 and 10-7. Then it gets really interesting again. So I think Russell Wilson is going to be fantastic. Final thing, Corey, and this is great for the NFL. Those 3:00 games featuring the AFC West are going to be must-see television for that whole division. You got Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, Josh McDaniels in Vegas, Mahomes, Herbert. Like, those games are going to be incredible. The 3:00 window is going to be amazing this year. So I'm looking forward to that. Vegas has got to figure out what they were going to do at quarterback. I thought Tom Brady was going to go to Vegas and just make it wonderful. But he's retiring.
Yep.
So it's going to be great because Sean Payton is one of the few sideline rock stars in the NFL.
No, you're right. Hey, Ralph, we got about 30 seconds. You still doing the Channel 4 stuff in the off season? What's the podcast, and where can folks find you on social media? About 20 seconds.
It's Saints Forecast on Twitter. Go to saintshappyhour.com. You can find our podcast. Support us with the best Saints podcast. And I do WWL TV for big events in the off season. Breaking news for the Saints, the draft. But that's when I'll see you on the TV, right around the draft and free agency time.
Be relentless with that 70-something-year-old Paulson guy, all right?
That's right. No chill, Eric Paulson. No chill.
Ralph, love you, man. Thanks so much.
Sure. All right, talk to you anytime, Corey.
That's Ralph Malbrough joining us. You got to check out his stuff at Channel 4 TV. Hysterical and ridiculously insightful. And I wouldn't want to take a standardized test versus Ralph. He's really smart, too. What's that, Blue Boy? You like reading Ralph's columns? Jeez and Pete's. And he's smarter than me. Blue Boy, do you want to eat tonight? 5 o'clock powwow next. Don't move, New Orleans.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend and Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
If you are a loved one or suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
I feel personally, when I walk around on the grounds, that it's sacred ground. It's healing. Just the environment is healing. Just being here makes one feel like that, I can let go. I can let go of the worry. I can let go of the stress that I've been carrying around for a long time. We don't shame anybody. We don't blame anybody. We don't judge anyone. Just that alone really is the foundation on which everything else that we do is done.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 504-291-4000.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
504-291-4000. 291-4000. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie,
You think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Space,
Star
the final
Trek.
frontier.
We're going back 55 years, literally 55 years ago.
These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise.
You know, it's amazing that show, I think,
Its
ran for
5-year
3
mission
seasons and
to
then they
explore
canceled it.
strange new
That
worlds.
first Star Trek movie was like
new life,
1981.
new civilization.
Seems like it's like 20 years later. It was
boldly
like
go where
maybe
no man
10 or
has gone
12
before.
years later. They've had, what, now about 10 or 12 Star Trek movies? The Picard series? Wow. It's not Star Trek. It's the neutral ground. Corey Johnson back at you. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. Yeah, you right. You got to like Ralph Malbrough, telling it like it is. Telling it like it is. No, I think when Sean Payton gets up to Denver and probably there already, getting his thing rolling, he's not going to have as easy of a time with the local sports media or the fans like he had in New Orleans. He had full-blown ownership of the local sports media. Still to this day, some are carrying his water. It's mind-blowing. Want to be his friend more than cover him properly. Denver has sports media. They don't care about being his friend, much less carrying his water. I think it's going to be an entirely different deal. Sean Payton is going to have to adjust to that. He's not going to have control. The Saints organization, I love the Saints organization. One of the few things we have in this town that's Fortune 500-ish. But they also kind of, go along with that plan. The Denver Broncos are going to be a lot different. I just think it's going to be a totally different deal for Sean Payton in that regard. It's like when Drew Brees was injured at training camp, day 2, some media member, Coach, what's the status on Drew Brees? I'm not doing this every day. Are y'all going to ask me every day about Brees' injury? Coach, I'm a reporter, so yeah, I can't assume what you think or how you're going to react. I'm going to have to ask you every day about Drew Brees' injury. You can tell me to, go to hell. I'm not going to answer it. You're being belligerent asking me this every day. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I'm going to ask this every day. I don't know what it is in Louisiana. I don't know if it's in the water or what. It's like the old Edwin Edwards thing. Governor, did you steal that money? Oh, I did. I stole $50,000, not $20,000. Ha, ha, ha. Everyone laughs. Hey, Governor, what are you doing this weekend? It's like, ask the question again. Did you steal the money? No, Sean Payton had full-blown control over the local media. Hook, line, and sinker. And Denver is a major market, 3 million folks in the metro. It's not like New Orleans at all. We have the same population today as we did 43 years ago in 1980. We had incredible growth from 1970 to 1980. We went from about 1 million people in the metro in 1970 to 1.3 million by 1980. We grew by 30% in that decade. We have grown by 0% the last 43 years. Exact same metro population as in 1980. All New Orleanians, everyone within the levee system. Hard to find folks that have moved from somewhere else to New Orleans. When you see some man that's from out of town that lives here, you're like, would you marry a local woman? Yeah, how'd you know? Yeah, because you didn't come here for the economy. You didn't come here for some job. Denver is hard to find someone from Denver in Denver. Hard to find someone from Colorado in Denver. Do they exist? Of course they exist. But most of the Denver residents in that metro area of about 3 million aren't from Denver, aren't from Colorado. I got a few friends, good friends that live there, New Orleanians. So it is a totally different animal. There isn't this, appease the coach. I want to befriend the coach. No media is going to be doing that. And then there's not going to be any media that's like, man, I don't want to alienate the fans and give them some bad news. I mean, Pillgate downplayed. Local media saying Bountygate was a farce, basically. It's crazy. And not breaking down the real stuff. Sean Payton and the Saints, like LSU, get a pass. That's the best way I can say it. Get a pass from the local media. Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos aren't going to get a pass from the Denver sports media. They're not going to get a pass. And they're not going to get a pass from the fans either. So it is an entirely different animal up there in Denver. And to be honest with you, I don't know how Sean Payton's going to do in Denver. I don't know how he's going to do in Denver. Because I'm Sean Payton. I try to get that Arizona gig and stay in the NFC. That division with Herbert and Pat Mahomes, maybe the number one player in the league. And then you got Allen and Joe Burrow in the AFC. Great young coaches in the AFC. No, Sean Payton's like a kind of a seasoned, middle-aged, heading towards the twilight of his coaching career. There's some 30, 40-year-old coaches that are Sean Payton a decade ago. So I don't think it's a guarantee that Sean Payton's going to make Denver a winner. I wouldn't bet against it, but I just leave that bet alone because I don't think it's a sure thing. It is definitely going to be interesting to watch, no doubt about it. But a huge plus, the Saints have jettisoned Sean Payton. He is in the rearview mirror now. No more of that baggage like you had this entire year. No shadow over Dennis Allen. New era of Saints football. Sean Payton is gone. Never coming back. Never was ever coming back. That was such a silly narrative that the media was buying into. Fans were jumping on that. Sean Payton wasn't burned out. Didn't need a break. Personal reasons exclusively. Him leaving came out of nowhere. And before the door on Airline Drive hit him on the rear end, I'm ready to coach again. No, Ralph started out arrogant and petty. Sean Payton is arrogant and petty and a winner. And he brought New Orleans a Super Bowl 14 years ago. 14 years ago. A generation ago. No, we love clinging to that type of stuff. Corey Johnson with you, 5 o'clock powwow. We got a lot to cover in this 5 o'clock hour. By the way, the 5 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating. When you got a paint in Metro New Orleans, you know where to go, Helm Paint and Decorating. Don't get fooled into going with one of these so-called coating companies. It's an elastomeric paint, a rubberized paint that Helm Paint and Decorating sells. And it's a Benjamin Moore product, better than the coating companies use. Here's the deal. They're not going to steer you in that direction because literally about 99% of homes don't need that expensive elastomeric paint. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Helm's word for it. Pull over on the side of the road when you see some professional painting crew painting someone's house. Ask them what they're using. They're not using elastomeric paint. They're not using these so-called coatings. You know what those coating companies are, literally? The world's most expensive home painting companies. Don't get ripped off. Go to the pros that know. For over half a century, New Orleans natives like us that know what they're doing, know what they're talking about. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, plus free 2-hour delivery anywhere in the Metro. Helm Paint and Decorating. Yeah, that's an ace in the hole, a no-brainer, huh? Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. Who's coming to help the NOPD during Mardi Gras? The mayor spouts off a bunch of police, and sheriff departments from around the region, around the state, different parishes, like Baton Rouge. And Baton Rouge is like, we're not going to help New Orleans. Mayor LaToya Cantrell, when she talks, can be a lot of nonsense, just a lot of misinformation, and sometimes just outright lies. NoLatoya.org, 3 weeks left. Their finance report was released. About $490,000 raised for radio, television, billboards, and the like. Rick Farrell, who lives on St. Charles Avenue, the big banner across his yard, multi-million-dollar house directly across the street from Sacred Heart School. Of the $490,000 that NoLatoya.org has raised, 470 of the $490,000 coming from Rick Farrell. And the mayor uses that, it's a GOP guy, blah, 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 blah. It's a business guy. It says two things to me. One, it's one guy that's financing this, essentially. And two, boy, the apathy of the New Orleans voters that don't really care. Some folks not signing, no one contributing money for the effort. Just, that's one thing LaToya Cantrell's got in her, vest pocket, like a lot of politicians. Apathy, just throwing in the towel. We just don't care. Beat up and bludgeoned. A lot more coming your way. I wouldn't move if I were you.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Parish Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Rouse's Market's phone lines to participate, 504-766-9480. Rouse's Market's phone lines, 766-9480. It's Mardi Gras season. Rouse's has all your Mardi Gras, stuff you need. It is your Mardi Gras headquarters. Plus, you go into a Rouse's, it smells like Mardi Gras. The king cakes are a bacon. They got about 20 different ones to choose from, including all your favorite cream-filled ones. And you can send those king cakes around the country. Rouses.com. Rouses.com. Rouse's Market's phone lines to participate in the program, 766-9480. We're going to get rid of that softball one right now. Name the 3 Super Crews, the 3 Mardi Gras Super Crews. That's an easy one. You got the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa is yours. Those old neighborhood parades from like 30, 40 years ago, kind of before the set St. Charles Avenue uptown route. I'm looking for that New Orleans East parade. I think the first parade in New Orleans East from like 30, 40 years ago. You got the answer? 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse is yours. 766-9480. Uptown Monday Night Parade. Uptown Monday Night Parade that ended up on Napoleon, but didn't start on Tchoupitoulas or Claiborne's. What was that Monday Night Uptown Parade? It now goes that regular route, either lines up on Claiborne or Tchoupitoulas, but didn't back in the day. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. Chalmette Parade from 30, 40 years ago. I think it went on a Saturday afternoon. I got 2 Gentilly Lakefront parades I'm looking for. The Saturday afternoon parade and then that Monday night parade. Give me the answer to any of those 6 Mardi Gras questions. Pick your poison. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. 5 locations. Well, 4 right now, but a 5th coming online soon. They got you covered in Mid-City, New Orleans, Canal Street at Carrollton. They got you covered in Metairie near North Kenner, Transcontinental at West Esplanade. They got you covered on the North Shore, I-10 in Gauze and Slidell. Coming soon, Amandaville Woodhouse Day Spa, Treyenne Country. And yeah, they got you covered in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. Or you can check them out online, print your own gift certificates, take a virtual tour, NOLA.woodhousespas.com. Rouse's Market's phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. You got answers? I got 50 big bucks for you at one of the area locations of the Woodhouse Day Spa. 766-9480. The Louisiana Supreme Court, this thing just keeps getting bumped up. This belligerent, person that used to work at the IG's office who was fired for theft, Kristen Morales, keeps trying to get her name cleared when she was fired, trying to get compensation, or I was fired wrongly, blah, 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 blah. The Louisiana Supreme Court sides with the IG's office for firing a former employee for theft, Kristen Morales. Susan Hutson immediately hires Kristen Morales and appoints her assistant sheriff. Susan Hutson and Kristen Morales used to be roommates. They shared an apartment together at one time. just this incestuous inside deal type stuff in New Orleans is sickening. It's sickening. And Susan Hutson, when questioned about Kristen Morales, who is a criminal who stole while working at the IG's office, this is a personal matter that does not affect Morales' role at this office. It's not a personal matter. It's a public matter. She worked for a public agency, the Office of Inspector General. Susan Hutson is out of her mind, cut out of the same cloth as LaToya Cantrell. The problem with these two, we don't have time in New Orleans for learning on the job. We need folks that already know what they're doing, that are great at what they do, experts, special people, not ordinary people. They'd be ordinary, these two at best. It's the opposite, incompetent. Don't have time for this in New Orleans. It's painful. This is a personal matter that does not affect Morales' role at the office. Yeah, because you choose it to be that way. There's nothing personal about it. Susan Hutson should have never hired her old roommate to be the assistant sheriff. My God, how many employees has she hired that have just been so dysfunctional? The guy that's a communications director, disbarred. Why would you bring him in? His mother that was making $180,000 a year. I can't make this crap up. I'm missing a few other hacks, clowns, appointed, anointed folks that Susan Hutson has brought in. Just in over her head. We are crazy in New Orleans. The characters we elect instead of people with character. We get exactly what we deserve. 800 plus cars stolen in New Orleans in January. Not for the year. If last year 800 cars were stolen in New Orleans, that's like 3 a day. It's obnoxious. 2.5 a day. That's ridiculous. 800 cars stolen last month in January. It's crazy. 800 plus cars stolen in the month of January in 31 days. That's about a car stolen in New Orleans 24/7, about every 45, 50 minutes. Every hour you're living in New Orleans, a car's been stolen. Crazy. I mean, but the mayor's tweeting about Beyonce ends her tour here in New Orleans. How about getting your priorities straight, Mayor? And get out of the Pontalba apartment already. This is sort of sad, and I hope it's some tactical move to get the Florida Avenue Expressway built. But it's unfortunate that St. Bernard Parish is now suing to stop the Port of New Orleans' container terminal that they want to build in Violet. About $1.5 billion. They want to start next year. It's going to take 4 years to build it just for phase one. And then over the next decade or so, they'll expand it to the $1.5 billion plan they have. St. Bernard Parish is suing. They're citing traffic and environmental concerns. Traffic concerns are legitimate. Environmental concerns are not at all. This is a green facility. You're moving containers from ships to shore to trains and boats, trains and trucks. If one of those chemical plants, oil and gas refineries in St. Bernard Parish wanted to expand, and they're already polluting, already causing cancer, dumping too much. Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality is weak and lame. They work for the oil and gas industry. They work for the chemical industry, not for us. Look no further than Cancer Alley. The EPA, the feds, same thing. They look the other way. I remember Buddy Roemer. He's like, we're not clamping down on these folks. We're not against the oil and gas industry, the chemical industry. We just want to make sure they follow the rules and don't pollute our air and our waterways and our land. We don't care. We don't care if people are dying. It's like the Menhaden industry. There's 2 plants in Louisiana. Both are owned by foreign countries. They employ about 500 people total, not 5,000, not 50,000, 500. Every other state on the Gulf Coast, every other state in America has restrictions on how much you can catch, how you catch it, all that with this Menhaden, the Pogey. for, cat food, dog food, the oil, that type of stuff. Louisiana, no restrictions. The industry controls Louisiana because of 500 jobs. I mean, we suck. We suck bad. We like being last. We like losing for 500 jobs. No, it's no different. Oil and gas industry, chemical industry. If they wanted to expand in St. Bernard, it would be welcome. Wow, 50 new jobs. Let's go for it. Who cares if kids and, adults are catching cancer? Who cares if they're polluting our water and air? Who cares? That's the mentality. But they're going to sue for this container terminal project? The only thing I can give St. Bernard, hopefully there's some back-end deal, not back-end deal, but back-end thinking where they're like, hey, we're all for this. We're grateful that the Port of New Orleans wants to build this. But there are traffic concerns, and you got to build this Florida Avenue Expressway, which, by the way, has been on maps, has been an idea in Louisiana for about 60 years now. You got to build that Florida Avenue Expressway, hooking this container facility in Violet to the I-510 out in New Orleans East. I hope that's the angle that St. Bernard is pushing. That would have some legitimacy to it. If they're suing because they don't want it, there's something very wrong with St. Bernard. And if I were the port, I'd be like, all right, we're going to just put the property back up for sale, and we're going to go buy property in Plaquemine and build it over there. Just insane. We just shoot ourselves in the foot, cut off our nose to spite our face. We like losing. I don't get it. I don't know. One good thing, it fuels my show every day. The LaToya Cantrells, the Jeff Landrys, the loony left, the wacky right, the extremists, the folks that, look the other way with polluters. No, it fuels my show. Corey Johnson with you. Wide Open Wednesday. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. 766-9480. This one's a softball pitch. I'll be answering this question in a few minutes if a caller doesn't call in with the answer, because I think it's just so easy. It's like playing baseball and that pitch comes to you. It's the size of a garbage can lid. Hard not to get some wood on that big of a ball. Name the 3 super crews. Mardi Gras, New Orleans. Name the 3 super crews. You got an answer? I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. 504-766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Name the 3 super crews. I'll be giving that answer in about 15 minutes if someone else doesn't. The old neighborhood parades from like 30, 40 years ago. What was the New Orleans East Parade known as? I still think they roll, just not on Hain Boulevard. Uptown Monday Night Parade. Still goes down, Napoleon to St. Charles, but didn't start back then on Claiborne's or Tchoupitoulas. Lined up where Pete Maravich once played. Name that Uptown Monday Night Parade. How about the Chalmette Parade from 30, 40 years ago? I used to go down to my dad's cousin's house and watch it rolling down not General de Gaulle, West Judge Perez. Got a couple of Gentilly Lakefront old school parades. One ran on Saturday afternoon, and then a couple of days later, one ran on Monday night. Give me either one of those parades, and I've got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480, 766-9480. Hey, Fausto's Italian Bistro opened their doors about 30 minutes ago. They roll from 5 till 9 p.m. for dinner during the week, and then 5 to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian, chicken, veal, fish, homemade, all great homemade, wonderful, authentic Sicilian and Italian recipes. Tonight for dinner till 9 p.m., make it Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Man, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. He's smart. He's insightful. comes up with some great points. Ralph Malbrough joined us from Channel 4 Sports. He writes a column for Channel 4 TV, goes on with Eric Paulson in the mornings, breaking down Sean Payton to Denver like it's nobody's business and really bringing up some fantastic points as well. Ralph Malbrough, check that out. That was about 35, 40 minutes of Ralph in the 4 o'clock hour. You can always check that out on YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. Hey, who's coming to help the NOPD for Mardi Gras? There are definitely some sheriff department, police departments from around the city, around the state, but also some that LaToya, the Destroyer, mentioned aren't coming. Like she said, Baton Rouge Police Department, Baton Rouge Sheriff Department's like, we got our own stuff to deal with. We got Mardi Gras to deal with. We can't go help out New Orleans. So, man, the mayor talks, and it's one of three things. I mean, when she says, hey, Beyonce's final tour stops in New Orleans, I guess that's true. But the other two, most of the time when she's talking, either embellishing or exaggerating or simply not being truthful, lying. LaToya, the Destroyer, Cantrell. Hey, speaking of the Destroyer, NoLatoya.org, 3 weeks left. Sign the recall. It doesn't oust the mayor. If the 53,000 plus votes are had and verified by the Secretary of State's office, Governor John Bel Edwards sets up a special election in Orleans Parish where we get to vote the mayor in or oust her. So sign the recall because it just sets up an election. And the mayor has deserves a third election, right? Sign the recall already. By the way, the finance report revealed NoLatoya.org's raised nearly $500,000 for this recall. $490,000 almost. 470, all but 20,000 of the 490,000 coming from a guy named Rick Farrell. He lives on St. Charles Avenue, I'm guessing in about a $4 million house, directly across the street from Sacred Heart. A very successful New Orleans businessman, a Republican that does not like the mayor. That says two things to me. Yeah, it's one person primarily funding the entire NoLatoya.org recall effort. But it also yells, boy, the apathy of New Orleans voters just don't care. Don't care to donate. The signatures should have been done a month ago. Just, hey, 3 more years of LaToya, no problem. I often say it in New Orleans and Louisiana, as long as hunting and fishing season, Mardi Gras, and 3-for-1 at the bar is a go, all is good. Educating my kids, infrastructure, crime, who cares about that? Economy, hunting and fishing season, Mardi Gras, 3-for-1 at the bar. Boy, we're perfect. The Louisiana Supreme Court sides with the Inspector General's office on the firing of a former employee for theft. Kristen Morales. What's funny is she gets legitimately fired and starts suing the IG. Susan Hutson hires Kristen Morales right away from one public entity to another. She got let go from the IG's office, fired because she stole. And Susan Hutson not only hires her, appoints her assistant sheriff. Susan Hudson's former roommate, they shared an apartment together. Susan Hutson and Kristen Morales lived together. They split the rent, I guess, at an apartment for a while. That's her friend. They have a personal relationship. That's her buddy. She hires her friend. She hires her buddy. That's a conflict right away. And that makes her assistant sheriff. So, and this is Susan Hudson's comment on that situation. Again, Kristen Morales gets fired from a New Orleans public entity, a city of New Orleans entity, the Office of Inspector General, and gets rehired by another New Orleans public entity, the New Orleans Sheriff's Department. Susan Hutson says, this is a personal matter that does not affect Morales' role at this office. It's not a personal matter. It's a public matter. And you never should have hired your friend, your former roommate, and someone that got fired for stealing from another city job. Susan Hudson, just lightweight, just like LaToya the Destroyer, pathetic. We get what we deserve. We elect these clowns. It's our fault. We love electing characters instead of people with character. 800 plus cars stolen in Orleans Parish. Not last year, not the last few years. 800 cars stolen in Orleans Parish. I mean, this is almost hard to believe. It's mind-boggling, mind-blowing. Last month, 31 days in January. January 2023 in Orleans Parish, 800 plus cars stolen. But the mayor tweets about Beyonce's last stop on her tour is New Orleans. Talk about lack of priorities with this mayor. St. Bernard Parish suing to stop the Port of New Orleans and their container terminal project. If a refinery or, chemical plant in St. Bernard wanted to expand, and all they do is break DEQ, the state rules, and EPA rules, the Fed rules, because there's no oversight and no one cares. They put cancer-causing heavy metals in our water, in our air, literally causing cancer to Chalmette folks, St. Bernard Parish folks. If they wanted to expand, it would be embraced in St. Bernard. This green container terminal, a lot of St. Bernard residents fighting this, over and over again. Cutting off your nose to spite your face, shooting yourself in the foot. It's mind-blowing. The only thing I can say is hopefully St. Bernard Parish is like, no. We want it 100%. We are grateful. We're fortunate that the Port of New Orleans wants to locate this $1.5 million state-of-the-art container terminal in our parish. We're grateful. But where's that Florida Avenue Expressway so those trucks can get from that container terminal to the interstate seamlessly and not clog down local highways, local roads in St. Bernard? Hopefully, it is some intellectually smart, tactical move by St. Bernard leaders. That's kind of an oxymoron. Any, city, parish in Louisiana with the word leaders. But hopefully some St. Bernard leaders, that's the angle. We are for the port facility. We just want that Florida Avenue Expressway built so these 18-wheelers don't bog down things in the parish. All right, the 3 super crews, Bacchus, Saturday night, Endymion, Sunday night. Oh, excuse me, I got it backwards. Endymion, Saturday night, Bacchus, Sunday night, Orpheus, Monday night. That's your 3 super crews in New Orleans. Hey, I still have some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates available. Some old school neighborhood Mardi Gras questions. You remember in the past, it wasn't all the St. Charles Avenue route. New Orleans East Parade from 30, 40 years ago. I think the first ever New Orleans East Parade probably started late 70s, maybe around 1980. How about that Uptown Monday Night Parade? They go down Napoleon in St. Charles, but they don't do it from Claiborne's or from Tchoupitoulas. They line up on another street, hint, hint, the Uptown Monday Night Parade. How about that Chalmette Parade going down West Judge Perez from 30, 40 years ago? Planet. That's my hint. Planet. Got 2 Gentilly Lakefront Parade questions for you. One was a Saturday afternoon parade, and then 2 days later, a Monday night parade that went through Gentilly and the lakefront. That was 30, 40 years ago. I don't know if either one of those parades exists still. Rouse's Market's phone lines, 766-9480. Rouse's Market's phone line, 766-9480. You got answers? I got 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse for you. Every day we broadcast live Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 o'clock on the radio, 4 to 6 o'clock on YouTube, 4 to 6 o'clock live streaming CoreyTalks.com, 4 to 5:30, the first 90 minutes of the 2-hour program on TV. Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333, all over Louisiana. We do it from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. Most of you out there aren't going to need AC or heating help, but some of you are. Just unexpectedly, the AC or the heat's not working right, making a funny noise, or worse, not working at all. You need to get it fixed right away. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. That's Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River City's Total Maintenance. You can find them online at NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Hey everyone, it's Casey Kasem with another top 40 hit that's sweeping the nation. Because I'm Vappy. Because I'm Vappy, supposed to be patrolling the streets as a cop. Instead, I do it my way. Because I'm Vappy, hanging out at the Puntava apartment with Junket Cantrell all day. Because I'm Vappy, on the clock, not patrolling the street. Instead, kicking back and still getting paid. Because I'm Vappy, waiting for the cable man, water plants and chilling, hey, because I'm Vappy on the city payroll, not working, because Montalva's such a nice place to stay, because I'm Vappy earning lots of money, because who wants to work when one can play, because I'm Vappy violent crime in the city, but hanging with the mayor, got nothing more to say, because I'm Vappy, because I'm Vappy, because I'm Vappy.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Yeah, you right. 20 days till Mardi Gras Day. 21 days, 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks left to sign that recall. I mean, if you're a New Orleanian that cares just in the least bit about our city, sign the recall already. It doesn't get rid of the mayor. It sets up an election where we vote to keep her or oust her. And she has earned that. Deserves that. Just the entitlement mentality alone, the first-class airline flights, all these junkets. No one anywhere can say, man, these junkets really help New Orleans. Not a single job created, not a single dollar brought to the city. It is a taxpayer paid for finance vacation. Unless you're in kindergarten or you've got some agenda, some whacked agenda where you feel compelled to take up for the mayor. I was listening to some joker, a former DJ that should be spinning records. I worked with this guy a few decades ago. His nickname was Payola. He used to take money from local musicians that didn't have the wherewithal or the skill or the talent or the following to be on this station that he was a disc jockey, and he'd take cash from them and play their records. It's illegal. It's called payola. Can't take something of value and promote something on the radio. We called him the Payola Kid. It was obnoxious. It was ridiculous. He's been popped a few other times. Checks written to the station, him opening a bank account with the station's name or signing them over and cashing the checks. He's got sort of a deviant criminal type mentality. And then he's got agendas. Very agenda driven, will be as political as can be when it's about his agenda. And then today I'm listening to him say, yeah, I'm not signing the recall because I want to stay neutral. If you want to stay neutral, just don't even bring it up. But saying you want to stay neutral and you're not signing it, that's making a decision. You're either signing it or not. Just in over his head, doesn't even know what he's saying because he doesn't know what he stands for. No, so many lightweights. It is a talk radio desert in New Orleans. Embarrassing. No, I tune in some of these shows. I remember there was this guy, Keith Rush and Bob Namer, and they were on an AM station. They had no following, no advertisers, no nothing. And it was just so bad that it almost went full circle for someone like me in the talk radio business. It almost went full circle where it was funny. It was so bad, it was good in a way. It was so painfully bad, it was almost funny and good and entertaining, at least for a few minutes. At least for a few minutes. Boy, a lot going on this wide open Wednesday. The mayor talking about different sheriff, police department entities from around the city, around the state that are coming to help for Mardi Gras. She rattles off a list. Some of them say, yeah, we're going to come help. Some are like, I don't know where the mayor's getting this, like Baton Rouge. the Baton Rouge Police Department and the Baton Rouge Sheriff's Department. We're not coming to New Orleans to help, like LaToya Cantrell said. No offense, but we have our own Mardi Gras celebration. We have our own crime problem. We need our cops here. Like to help New Orleans, but we can't do it. I don't know where the mayor comes up with this. When she talks, she's either embellishing or exaggerating or being untruthful, lying. Hey, speaking of 3 weeks left on the recall, the financial report was released. NOLAToya.org, Eileen Carter, Belden Baptiste, they've raised about $490,000. All but 20,000 of it. All but 20,000. What is 20 grand of $500,000? That's like, let's see, it would be, it's about 10%. All but 10% of the money, 90+% of the money coming from one individual. 90% of the NOLAToya.org money coming from Rick Farrell, who lives in I'm guessing about a $4 million house, huge property. It might be like an acre. It's huge. It is that house with the NOLAToya banners on the fence right across the street from Sacred Heart. I don't think Rick Farrell should be allowed to put up those banners. And I'm all for the mayor getting recalled, but I don't think he should be allowed to put that up running the length of his fence. The house takes up like half a city block, basically, a third of a city block. The back house would be good enough for me. Seriously. The back house would be tremendous for me. And it's a huge mansion in the front. But along the fence, just a really nice banner about recall the mayor, NOLAToya. I 110% agree with the sentiment, but it shouldn't be on a fence on a mansion on St. Charles Avenue. It's just wrong. But Rick Farrell has financed this NOLAToya.org campaign. He's a Republican. That's going to be fuel for the mayor if there's an election to oust her or not. Good for her. But boy, she has earned that election. Signed the recall already. Just forget about your apathy, you're beat up, you're bludgeoned. Try giving a blank. Try caring about New Orleans. You want 3 more years of junket Cantrell, the embellishment, the exaggeration, the lies, the trips, the Pontalba apartment, the entitlement mentality, not getting anything done for New Orleans. So many New Orleanians just don't keep score. They follow the Saints. They follow LSU. Maybe we need some record every year. Hey, it's New Orleans City of season. Our competition in the division: Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Charlotte, North Carolina. That's our competition. Those teams are going to the playoffs. Those teams have winning records. Austin, just booming economy. Nashville, cranes all over the sky. Booming economy. New Orleans, stagnant at best, really going backwards. We're if it's college, we're 2-10. If it's the pros, we're 12-4, 17-game season. 4-12 or 5-12, 4-13. Those other teams are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 wins. They're going to the playoffs. They're Super Bowl contenders. We're not anywhere near 500, much less the playoffs. We are a losing team. I don't know. Maybe we need some kind of scorecard like that. What Austin's doing, what Nashville's doing, what Charlotte's. Birmingham, Alabama, they're about 75,000 people away from having the same population in their metro as Metro New Orleans. Places like Tidewater, Norfolk, Virginia have a larger metro than New Orleans. The Research Triangle, Raleigh, North Carolina. Forget about Charlotte. Raleigh, North Carolina has a larger population in the metro than New Orleans. No, growth and economy. I don't know. We like losing. Good for me. It's like Rush Limbaugh when a Democrat's president. Doubles his 50% increase in his audience, a lot more ads sold. No, dysfunctional, broken New Orleans and Louisiana, good for me. Because always topics for my show. Always. Hey, how about some shish kebab tonight? How about some of the city's finest Middle Eastern food? Some of the city's best. It's Lebanon's Cafe, open till 9:30. To-go orders as well. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, which means you folks in Old Metairie, Old Jefferson, less than 5 minutes from where Causeway hits River Road. And it's easy to get to. River Road, across the tracks, down Oak Street, hook a left on Carrollton, 3 blocks on your left. Carrollton at Jeanette, you can't miss it, the big green awning. Lebanon's Cafe, open till 9:30 tonight. What's that, Blue Boy? Bring you some shish kebab from Lebanon's Cafe. You'd like some hummus and tabbouleh? What? Come on, Blue Boy, you're getting kibble in a little while. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for watching and listening. Mañana, 4 p.m.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.